I feel like I've been kind of, and like I said, I'm extremely blessed, more than I deserve sometimes. But yeah, I've been working every day through this entire quarantine thing, and driving to work, driving from work. Sometimes during the day, I think, man, this is crazy how removed I am from the situation because I have a job to go to. Somehow or another, I just kind of lucked out and picked an essential job, which that term essential job, I think that's really starting to eat people's lunch. Like everybody's realizing that, well, crap, man, we're all essential. Everybody's essential. And at very least, that job to that person is essential to their life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, suicide rates are through the roof, divorces are through the roof. And I think whenever the dust settles and we get to look around and see how much destruction there was from this, people are really going to have their eyes opened. I mean, right now we're living it and it seems terrible.
Sean Dustin spent time in federal and state prison for drug trafficking and fraud. Upon release in 2006, he had nothing but the clothes on his back, a bag of mail, and legal paperwork. In 2010, he kicked a long-time methamphetamine habit and started the long climb back up the ladder of life. This is the Nowhere to Go But Up podcast. If you want transparency and authenticity, you're in the right place. This is the Nowhere to Go But Up podcast, and this is Sean Dustin.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by the show. If this is your first time listening, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. It's good to have you with us. IndiePods United Virtual Summit. Here you will observe and learn from other podcasters how to take what you can't stop thinking about and turn it into something real. The online event for new and veteran podcasters where we come together to create with one another. The IndiePods United convention happens on November 29th through December 3rd, 2020. Featuring amazing shows, speakers, breakout sessions, entertainment, games, and plenty more as we dive in to learn more about the fascinating world of podcasting. For more event information, please visit the Facebook public group IndiePods United. Tickets are available now through Eventbrite. The IndiePods United Virtual Summit. Together we listen. Relevant links are available in the show notes. This episode of the podcast was recorded on April 30th, 2020, and that is pretty much 10 days into the lockdown for me. What was interesting about going through these older episodes, normally you would it would be dated, talking about something, it would be dated to that time 6 months ago. But fortunately for me, we're still in the midst of COVID. Here, we're probably looking at, we went to back to the red tier and possibly looking at another lockdown come this Sunday. So I lucked out. I thought it would be irrelevant, but it's still kind of relevant. What's interesting is listening back to our perspectives and what we think may, be coming from this and some of the outcomes that could possibly come to fruition, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And also, too, Andrew actually did start his podcast. He was talking about it back in April when we did this episode that he wanted to start a podcast, and he has. His podcast is called Fort Worth Roots, and he's got 19 episodes so far. And you can find this on fortworthroots.com. This is an interesting episode. It's a little longer than the usual ones, but that's okay. And let's just get to the show. This is the Nowhere to Go But Up podcast, and I'm your host, Sean Dustin. Today I'm talking to Andrew Turner, and Andrew came to me by way of a post that I put out there looking for people that have had bottoms in their lives and life struggles, and he answered my request, and he's got some information and a story to tell about being a business owner and the struggles of the first time business owner. Is that correct?
Yeah, Sean.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on your show, brother.
Not a problem. Not a problem. You just told me that you got done doing a 5-mile run.
5.5. Don't sell me short, Sean.
Oh man. All right. I knew I was going to get something wrong, man. If it wasn't the name, it was going to be something else.
No, I was just messing with you.
You know, this isn't a professional production here.
Hey, you're getting there though. As soon as you and I talked online, I went back, I listened to episode 1, and I think I'm up to date now, man. And you're getting better, and you're, kind of refining your product, and it's coming through, man. The hours you're putting in are starting to show. So congratulations on, I think, what was the last milestone you put up and said you'd accomplished already?
Oh, 3,000.
Yeah, man, that's a heck of a milestone. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's not you're going to get into doing a podcast yourself, and you're going to see that it seems a lot. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that difficult, but when you start putting all of the components together of it, all right, this is the best part of it. When you get to talk to people and have fun conversating and all that. And then you got to actually put them out, edit if you need be. I'm really, really, really thinking about going live just so I can cut out the editing process.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, I just, or can afford to pay somebody to do it for me. But right. I don't see that coming anytime soon. So I'm probably going to look in the direction of a live deal so I can just at least cut that 4 hours an episode out, because that's how long it's taken me to edit the back end.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. You're in Texas, the great country of Texas.
The great country of Texas. That's right. Yeah. I'm here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I've been. You still there, brother?
Yep. I lost you for a minute. And,
okay.
and you froze up, and then now you're back. I knew you'd come back around eventually.
It's that spotty Wi-Fi in Texas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not doing much better. I'm working from a hotspot because I got no internet access where I'm at. You see, I'm in a trailer. I'm in a fifth wheel. So no internet, no cable, no nothing here. So I'm all on hotspot and cell phone service.
Well, that was a little blip. Do you want to keep rolling, or?
Yeah. I mean, this, like I said, this isn't a professional production. we just try to get it done, man. It doesn't matter. I mean, I probably won't even cut that out. I mean, that's just that's really what it's about. You know what I mean? If you really want to know what having a podcast is, it's like, dude, you got unforeseen things that come up. You got guests that cancel on you. I had 9 scheduled today. I had 2 cancel, or 1 cancel, or maybe it was 2. I don't know. So you just got to be able to roll with the punches, and then, and then the marketing, the media part of this, social media marketing part of this is a beast in itself. And, and learning how to do that and work within the, hashtags and this and that. And it's like, God, man, there's so much. But I mean, I was already so invested that I'm like, well, I better learn it.
Yeah. In our age group, we didn't grow up with Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I feel like I've got Facebook down, but I'm still kind of wading through the waters of all the other social media things that pop up overnight. And, in this line of work, you got to figure that out and become an expert.
You got to learn how to TikTok.
Yeah, I haven't made it that far yet, man. I'm unpackaging Twitter and Instagram right now.
I have a cousin. She's like a second cousin, maybe. And she lives in Nicaragua, and she's a TikToker, and she's got up to like 9,000 followers now. So I'm like, I hit her up. I'm like, hey man, I need some listeners in that part of the world. Tell all your friends about the show.
Is she pretty?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well that helps. It's harder for people like me and you to get followers, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's easy when I put my dog in charge. My dog gets way more action than I do. Like I'm his wingman.
So I've got a small marketing company that I started up about 2 years ago, and whenever we went to quarantine mode, and now you got to stay out of stores and everything. Part of my job that I have to do for my marketing is go to the businesses that I sponsor and do little promo videos for them. Well, I can't do that anymore, and nobody wants to see a video of my face for an extended period of time. So I was taking the dog and trying to get that in frame and help the situation out. But yeah, I understand the problem there for sure, intimately.
So tell me a little bit about your struggle and your story. You know, what brought you,
Well,
what brought you to want to talk to me today?
I during my run, I was trying to kind of put this together in my head, how this was going to go. And I didn't start getting nervous until you and I started talking, man. I'm a little surprised by that. I don't typically get nervous, but for some reason I started getting nervous with this one.
All right.
But I wanted to start out.
Hold on.
I'm
Let me give you something.
conquer your inner B word.
So
yeah.
get over
sure.
that.
Yeah. No, okay. Good. Thanks for the. Sean's wearing a shirt with "Conquer Your Inner Bitch" on it, so I'm inspired now. Thank you, Sean.
All right. But that's not me. Thank Joe Rogan. Onnit.com is where I got this.
Oh, okay. That's an Honest shirt. Yeah, I'm very, very familiar with JRE, man. No, I just wanted to start off by saying this is a story of hitting rock bottom, but I am not somebody that considers myself unlucky or persecuted. I do not feel like I've had a rough life or anything like that. So I just want to just kind of frame it before we got started. I don't feel bad for myself. Everything that happened to me, I did to myself. So I've got only me to point fingers at.
I know how that
I'll
is.
roll right into that. Yeah, for sure. Episode 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I came back from a deployment in 2015. And during that deployment, I decided that I was going to start my own business. Like I had a solid year to kind of formulate a plan. And whenever I got back to the States, I started working towards that. And I didn't know that I wanted to do landscaping. I didn't grow up with a green thumb. I don't have a background in anything related to that. But that was something that I figured would be low startup cost and just easy to get into. And I was right. It was. I started mowing some lawns, and before you know it, I had several customers and so on and so forth. And little by little, they started asking me for extra services. So I went from just push mowing to cutting hedges, trimming trees, planting sod, anything and everything you could think of that didn't require a license. So that was the first summer coming back. And then it snowballed, and it got to the point where I'm like, I can do this. I can turn this into a legitimate business. So I went out, I got an LLC. I got commercial insurance, and then I started trying to secure some commercial contracts. And I found out that I had a talent for going out to businesses and securing names and contact information, and kind of getting my foot in the door was not a big issue at all. So this, long story short, it just accelerated very quickly. I walked away from a very good job. I'd been working on Black Hawk helicopters for 5 years, taking them apart, putting them back together. And I loved it. It's the best job I ever had. And whenever people found out that I was talking about quitting and going out on my own, they're like, "Are you sure?" and nowadays I look back at that and I'm like, man, it could have been way different if I'd have listened to those people. But yeah, I don't regret it. I've learned a lot. I've got lessons that you can't pay for that, in a university. And that, unfortunately, is the way I learn. I've got to learn it the hard way. So it wasn't all bad. Once I started picking up commercial contracts, I made my way up the ladder, my own little ladder, and I had 13 employees. I had an assistant. We started running this massive warehouse. We got on HGTV and did 6 episodes with them. Just a weird coincidence. They were looking for somebody that I happened to fit the exact profile for. And so I jumped in there and got after it. So right at the height of everything, people are looking at me after 2 years of being out on my own and seeing everything that I've got going. He's on national television. Ooh, and he's got all these apartment complexes and commercial contracts. And it looked very impressive on paper. And from distance, it looked pretty impressive. Everybody was excited that in 2 years I was able to get all this going for myself. I guess this is more or less a cautionary tale than anything. For anybody that's going out there to start their own business, my main failure as a business owner, what I did to myself is I did not plan properly. I got out there and I just went 100% as fast as I could, as hard as I could. I lived by some very dangerous mantras. Burn the boat. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but
no.
The idea is if you don't have anywhere to go but the shore, then you're going to get to the shore. If not, you just sink and drown, which unfortunately is what happened in my business. I just got myself overextended, man. Working on the television show and working with all these commercial contracts, I ended up getting myself in a load of debt. I had promised myself going into this that everything was going to be paid cash. So if I needed a new piece of equipment, pay it cash, and so on and so forth. I would just keep doing that. But there's always unforeseen things that are going to come up. And if I had held on to my really nice aviation job for an extended period of time and built my business the way I initially set out to, that would have been great. Unfortunately, what happened is those really nice commercial contracts that I just keep talking about, they were on what's called a net 30. And for those of you that don't know, a net 30 is whenever a business says, well, we require a net 30 system for invoicing and bill pay. That just says, okay, you've got 30 days to pay this invoice. So, all right, I tell you what, I'm small. This is going to hurt, but I'll do a net 30. So I made that agreement. And then net 30 turned into 60 days, no payment, 90 days, no payment. And I'm little. I have no backing whatsoever. So whenever this started happening, I'm gasping for air. And I made a rule for myself, not even intentionally, but I knew that the one thing that I was never going to go back on was making sure my guys got paid. I was missing house payment, Sean. I had a vehicle repossessed. There were a lot of things that I was missing financially because I had to hold money to make sure that my guys got paid. And then whenever it got really bad, I started taking out these toxic loans. These predatory lenders found me, actually, and through whatever algorithm seeks out poor guys like me that are at the end of their rope. And they said, hey, we got a solution for you. And, I kept pushing them back and said, no, you know what? I see what you're doing here. Your interest rate is insane. I'm not an idiot. But they kept emailing me and sending me that contact information. And then whenever I did hit rock bottom, they were there happily. And so I took it, man. I took this really nasty loan. And if you crunch it down, now they worded it different because if you come out and you say they charged me 48% interest, that's not true because of the terminology inside the contract. What they did is I sold interest to them or something like that. It was really screwy. But anyway, the way they do it, it's legal. I believe, unless I'm mistaken, I could be, anything over 38% interest is illegal. Like you're just not allowed to do that. But this was a really nasty loan. And the way they had it worked out is I would pay X amount of dollars back every business day. So, I'm really getting into the weeds here, but basically because I was not prepared, I took on unnecessary risk and it bit me in the butt. And I tried everything I could to keep that ball moving forward. The end result is the business started to collapse. Equipment started to break down that I couldn't pay for. Those net 30 accounts, some of them still owe me tens of thousands of dollars, that I'll never get back because they've got attorneys. And like I said, I was flat broke. So I can't go after them. There might be a way to do it. I was unaware. And honestly, at the end of it, man, I was so tired. I was just exhausted by all of this. So, and there was a lot of other stuff going on. I feel like that's probably um, probably another episode on your podcast that we could do later on. But there was a whole nother storm of stuff going on, and everything in conjunction with it just kind of put me at the bottom. So I ended up getting rid of my big 2,000 square foot, 2-story warehouse, which looking back on it, man, I don't know why I thought I needed that much space. All my equipment, which I kept telling myself whenever I buy this stuff, like, it's not like I'm actually losing this money because I still have these assets. Well, yes, unless you use those assets and your hourly employees just, sorry about that. But they're hourly employees. They do not care about your equipment. So not the way that you do. So anyway, all that to say, eventually they started to break the equipment. And so those investments became just paperweights eventually. If you don't have the money to keep up with the maintenance on that equipment, which in the beginning I was very good about, changing the belts, sharpening the blades, changing the oil, making sure the filters are clean, all that good stuff. But, life takes over. The expenses get ridiculous. And so that's just the tidal wave of crap that hit there. The house did not get repossessed. I had a beautiful, brand new 2,000 square foot home in a very nice neighborhood, a very nice area of Fort Worth. And in order to keep my guys paid, I had to get rid of it. So once again, vehicle got repossessed, and it just one thing after another, man, until I want to say end of 2018, moving into 2019. Now I have no employees, and I'm just trying to hang on to the little bit I got left. And things just kept breaking. And so finally, I fell back on my CDL, and now I've got to drive. I have a job driving a truck. I don't have any employees. I don't have to worry about state regulation or any of that. And I'm starting to kind of feel like myself again. But I just went through what feels like 5 years of just absolute mayhem. And it was all because I lived by some dangerous mantras. I wasn't prepared, and I kind of lost sight of my goals, which is really easy to do whenever you dive into this stuff. I didn't have any business partners backing me up. I was doing all of it by myself. Had to make sure that payroll was done perfectly, state regulation, federal regulation. You got to make sure that you comply with everything that they need. And if you screw up, they'll let you know real quick. So that is that's the ups and downs of that. But everything's looking good now. The new job is like I said, it's helping me feel normal. I picked up running again. I used to run marathons. You don't have time to run marathons whenever all that's going on, Sean. So that's kind of gone to the wayside, but I'm happy to get back out there and start stretching my legs again.
Well, the one thing I want to say is thank you for your service.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I tell you what, that was the 12 best years of my life. I worked with some really incredible people. I took away some life skills that, I'll have those for the rest of my life. And I got to go to some amazing places and experiencing things that most people don't see in a lifetime, let alone by the age of 30. So yeah, sure. Absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that.
One thing so this is something that I'm struggling with, as somebody that's in this space that I don't really like you know what I mean? I jumped into something that I didn't know necessarily how to do. I mean, I YouTubed some stuff and figured it out and,
Sure.
Did some other things, but as I'm coming through and looking at different aspects of what I'm doing, talking to a lot of different people, from, life coaches to mentors to, all of these people that are in this space. Do you think that it would have helped you had you hired a mentor or a coach to help you in the areas that you weren't familiar with? And almost like, it's not a business partner, but somebody who, so like all
Sure.
the money that you had lost, right? If you would have invested, if you would have invested, let's say, you know, $4,000, let's just use that as a
Right.
number. And you had
Okay.
somebody who was coaching you through, okay, well, you probably shouldn't do that. Do you really need a 2,000 square foot? I mean, what do you have?
Yeah.
It would have been asking, almost like soundboarding with
Right.
you.
No, yeah, what you're talking about is, just part of the preparation program or process. Like exactly what you're talking about is exactly what everybody should do anytime they're trying to make a big move like that. But I tell you what, Sean, if you tried to walk up to 30-year-old me and tell me anything, I wouldn't hear you. And I would just smile at you and go, okay. And, when you hit rock bottom, and I just real quick before I forget, you've had some amazing guests on your show that I've been listening to. Like there's one just 2 episodes ago, and I cannot remember her name. And then another one that I listened to, Lori Rising.
Yeah, Rising, my
with,
new
the
co-host.
Raw Parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, she's awesome. So anyway, the reason I bring those up is because I know that I'm in good company when I say hitting rock bottom or having these rough life experiences. And like I said at the beginning, I am not comparing myself to some of the other people you've had on your podcast because they've had really hard times that I can't even imagine. But with my situation, it's definitely taught me humility. We were sitting at a restaurant, me and 2 of my very good friends, and this homeless guy comes into the restaurant and he walks up and he says, "Hey, I've got this box of candy bars and, they're $2 a piece. Would you like one?" And I said, "You know what? Yeah, let me get one of those. You know what? Here, give me one candy bar. Here's $5. Thank you very much. You have a good day." I was agreeable and nice and all this. And my buddy sitting across the table from me was just like, "What was that?" I was so nice to a stranger. This was pretty recently, and I got to thinking about that. I was like, you know what? He's right. That's compared to 5 years ago, is out of character for me. And the point I'm trying to make is this teaches you humility, going through these life experiences. So yes, you're right on. You should definitely, if you have access to a life coach, great. At very least, you should, have a mentor, somebody that you respect and trust, and somebody that gets it. If you have somebody like that in your life, you're already winning. There's a lot of people that do things similar to what I did, or maybe even more extreme, and they don't have people like that in their life. But if you do, you're winning right there. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and with the whole the homeless guy and stuff like that, what I think a lot of people are realizing these days is that we're not that far away from that person,
Yeah,
especially now, right now, everybody who's not working, it's like, I mean, how many of us are this close to being homeless? Well, me, I'm not, because I can take my home anywhere, but I mean, it could, if I don't pay for it, it's going to get repossessed.
Right.
Unless I just keep moving.
Just keep ducking and diving. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. And I feel like I've been kind of, and like I said, I'm extremely blessed, more than I deserve sometimes. But I've been working every day through this entire quarantine thing, and driving to work, driving from work. Sometimes during the day, I think, man, this is crazy how removed I am from the situation, because I have a job to go to. Somehow or another, I just kind of lucked out and picked an essential job, which that term essential job, I think that's really starting to eat people's lunch. Like, everybody's realizing that, well, crap, man, we're all essential. Everybody's essential. And at very least, that job to that person is essential to their life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, suicide rates are through the roof, divorces are through the roof. And I think whenever the dust settles and we get to look around and see how much destruction there was from this, people are really going to have their eyes opened. I mean, right now we're living it and it seems terrible. And people are starting to absorb this information, but really the time for reflection is going to be afterwards. And that's when we're really going to, and we're going to hear some horrible stories. I have a friend in a group, a veteran group, that sent out a message, said, hey, if y'all can help in any way, this family is going through a really hard time. And what had happened, their mother was sick in Florida and dying, and they were in another state, and they were not allowed to see their mother as she was dying in a hospital in Florida. And that broke my heart. That's crazy. Can you imagine having somebody in the hospital and not being able to get to them? And it's just because of logistics. It's got nothing to do with you as a person. It's not your fault. You can get there. It's not because you're a bad family member or a bad, son or daughter. It's just the situation. And that right there, when I heard that story, I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like I said, I'm removed from the situation, so I'm not even thinking about this kind of stuff. So it's stories like that are really going to bring people around to understanding just how devastating this was, and talking about the numbers. And sounds like you listen to podcasts too, and that's where I get all my information. But the coronavirus numbers are skewed because we did isolate. Everybody's saying, well, this wasn't as bad as influenza. The first time I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's crap. That's crazy. We shut everything down, and it's not as bad as influenza. But what people don't understand, or what they're not paying attention to, is we did isolate. This could have been way worse than the flu.
Yeah.
So, and I know everybody's speculating right now, but man, it's crazy. How are you holding up? How has this affected you?
Well, I mean, I'm not working.
Well, you're working right now, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is more of a passion project than it is a paying project. So, unfortunately, passion projects don't turn into paying projects quite as quickly as you'd like them to. But I'm not here because I want to get paid. I'm here because I want to help people, and I want to, put my message out there and let other people get their messages out there. This is helping me tremendously with, being able to socialize with other adults and people and being able to ask questions. I just talked to somebody who was in Toronto, and, I'm asking them about, something that we all should be having, because in this situation that we're in right now, if I wasn't on disability and wasn't able to get on disability right when this happened,
right,
I would be using up my bank hours, and I wouldn't be covered, which means my daughter wouldn't be covered, which means I'd have to be paying Cobra, which would cost me $1,000 something a month for Cobra, which I'm not getting right now. Yeah. So, I was asking her, I'm like, look, this whole national healthcare thing, we get this skewed idea when people start talking about Medicare for all, and a nationalized system of medical, that, they got to wait forever to get their surgeries. And, you get a negative spin on it whenever people start talking about it, right? Even in our own political, arena, they downplay it like, it's never going to happen. It's this and that. And I'm like, is that true? You've been in it. And she lived in England, and she lived in Canada. So she's been in both different, national systems. And she's like, no, it isn't like that at all. There's, I don't know why it gets spun that way. And we know why it gets spun that way, because these people are making millions of dollars,
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah. Well, Sean, I feel like I'm not saying it's okay what's going on right now, but we do have to cut people just a little bit of slack, because this is, this is new. We've never experienced anything like this as a nation, and certainly the people that are living right now, this is strange. The worst depression we've gone through was 2008, and that was I don't know if that was as bad as this, but it was pretty bad. And time will tell as far as the economic impact. It'll take about 6 months once we get the ball rolling again to see exactly how bad this was. But I feel you, man. It's frustrating, but I try to keep in the front of my mind, nobody knows what's going on. So, and whenever people start yelling and preaching their ideas and stuff, they're just trying to take control of the situation. And some people have to do that to kind of normalize their life and feel like they have some resemblance of control. So I try to take it easy on folks whenever they do that. And, if I don't have to weigh an opinion, I just don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky. Honestly, I'm lucky. I was able to my medical's covered. I'm getting paid decently. I'm able to see my daughter every day, like 3 times a week, because I'm helping. I co-parent, so I go over to my ex's, and she's working from home. So I'm just keep my daughter occupied, so she's not bothering her. We get along pretty good,
right?
Well enough to be able to occupy the same space and not kill each other. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty lucky, and even if I didn't get on this, I mean, I would be making probably $1,050 a day, a week, just on the extra 600 that they're, giving, the states give, or the government's giving, plus the 450, which is what I qualify the max for the unemployment thing. So I mean, either way, I would have been all right. I was lucky enough to have been, cause, when you're in the union, sometimes you're bouncing around from, you get laid off, go back to another job, get laid off, the hall sends you back out to somewhere else. And so I was lucky enough to be able to so I took every job that I got placed at, I made it as if I was working part time. So I didn't give up and have to restart the whole claim process over again.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I don't a lot of people are screwed right now that are trying to get into unemployment, and they can't get through to the phones. They can't get on the online is crashing. And so, it's not working out. Yeah. It's overwhelming, and it's not working out the way that they intended it to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
really glad to hear you say that, man. Cause a lot of people I don't feel like a lot of, especially, when I say I don't feel like Americans, have this, what I mean is my perception. I'm not in every country, so I can't see it. But let me just say, I guess people don't seem to really live their lives through gratitude, and so it's refreshing to hear you say that you're grateful, that you understand how blessed you are in maybe comparison. We're not rich, we don't have everything, but we can be grateful for what we have and appreciate it. So that's awesome to hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm just happy that my mom and my dad, they're split up, but I mean, they're both healthy and,
right.
Following the guidelines, and, cause I don't know what I would do if I was in the situation that you just said. My mom's my best friend down there. I mean, she's always been there for everything. I would flip the fuck out, man.
Yeah, for sure.
If she was dying and I couldn't be there to hold her hand and to say goodbye,
Yeah, I can't think of anything worse. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy that it hasn't really affected me too badly. But I'm not watching the news at all. I kind of tuned out of I tuned out of mainstream media because it's just fear mongering. You
can only take so much of Trump's tweets.
Well, I mean, I don't.
It seems like that's what news is all about these days.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. I mean, it really wouldn't matter. What people don't understand is that he's just a front man for the band. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's all he is. He doesn't really have any power. I mean, yeah, he can do some executive decisions and executive orders and write this and write that, but it's got to get through the Congress and the Senate before anything can happen. So, I mean, he doesn't really have that much power.
He's got enough power on Twitter to make people drink aquarium cleaner.
Yeah, that's because
apparently, but that's a special breed. I'm just messing around with you, but yeah.
Well, you mean
some power?
He's got some, but I mean, you know what? Joe Exotic type power over the Joe Exotic type people.
Do you think Trump's going to pardon him? Let's get to the real question, Sean.
Yeah, well, no. The real question is that Carole Baskin, where's your husband?
There's no question. We know what happened. Everybody knows. I think if you were to poll the United States right now, they'd be like 99%, and that other 1%, they're just joking. Yeah, everybody knows she killed her husband, right? Yeah. I mean, allegedly. I guess I should say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole with that damn show, and I started watching it.
I wish I hadn't watched it.
Dude, I did it all in one like sitting. I woke up at.
Oh wow, that's commitment.
Well, no, I wasn't. It wasn't intended to happen that way. So I fell asleep early. I woke up at like midnight and couldn't fall back asleep. And I'm like flipping through the Netflix, and there it is. And I'm like, fuck it, man. I'll check it out. And I couldn't stop watching it. I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, the dude was just so, like just the contrast of this guy. You got this homosexual, gun toting thing. You know what I mean? It was just like, and he was serious. He was serious about how he was, man. Like I was just like, especially when he thought he was going to go run for a governor or whatever political aspirations he had. Like he didn't realize it, or maybe he did, but it just seemed like he didn't realize it, dude. And everyone's laughing at you.
Bro, I feel like you should have. I feel like you should have spoiler alerted before you went into that. But everybody that's seen it is going to see it. I mean, the curiosity got the best of me after like a week of seeing all the memes. I'm like, who's this Carole Baskin? And what did she do with her husband?
Did you hear that they're like? I think Dr. Oz
reopening it.
Yeah, they're reopening the case.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh man. Yeah. And she was sitting there. I mean, the crazy thing about that, we're not going to, I didn't mean to get into the Tiger King, Tiger King review here, but, it really seemed like she just wanted to have it all for herself. It's like, you know what I mean? And she was using the Tiger Cub thing. Like, I'm not going to lie. If I had Tiger Cubs, I'd be trying to get laid too, you know?
I mean, apparently they're not very expensive. I think you can probably hold a little bit of cash back, you know, stop eating fast food for a couple of months. Get yourself a Tiger Cub, man.
Yeah, get a Tiger Cub and you know, start getting some strippers lined up.
That's the move, brother. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah. So anyways, I felt like she was just trying to corner the market and didn't want any competition and was trying to eliminate the competition by using these other things and her whole following. And, you know, I think if they're reopening the case and they find she could be screwed, you know?
Listen, I just want to hear her say it. I mean, it's all over her face. You know, she's thinking it. I just want her to look one camera straight down the barrel and say, you just hate it because you're not me. Haters gonna hate. She just needs to say it, man. That's the look on her face. Yeah. And you know what? She's gonna get a book deal after this, and she'll be on whatever reality television show is left. I don't know what's left. They still got Jerry Springer. I think that's gone. Oprah's gone.
Yeah, well, these podcasts are the new reality TV. That's
right. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think that podcasts are going to change the world. I say that constantly in all my shows because it's we're going back to our grandparents' time.
Greatest generation.
Yeah, we're going back to our grandparents' time when radio. You know, I remember when I was at my dad's my dad's mom's house. Or parents' house, and they had those old ass little consoles, you know what I mean, for the radio, and that used to be like the big deal. Everybody would gather around the radio,
right?
And I really think that when you listen to something and it's in your ears, it's way more absorbable than watching it. Mm-hmm. You know.
Well, I think the same reason that podcasting is getting so popular is the same reason that Trump won that last election. And it's just we want transparent, honest entertainment, information. We're tired of the 4K polished everything, nothing but crap on the news. I mean, there's nothing worth really paying attention to on regular television. Now, Netflix has got some pretty good shows, but I think that the way that we like to take in news and information now has switched to podcasting. At least for me, it has, and those numbers are growing. I'm sure you're tracking it too, but people are just starting to discover it and really check it out. And I mean, how else are you supposed to get information? I used to be a big fan of Reddit, but even Reddit's turned into this, you know, cancel culture thing where you if you say the wrong thing, you get kicked off and everything's moderated and then people can hack it and get their stuff to the top of the feed. So everything is kind of managed and everybody's figured out a way to control the message. So But with podcasting, like what you're doing right now, like you said, this isn't your primary source of income, and it won't be probably for a little while, because what you're doing is you're building a relationship with your viewers. So, and once they start to trust you, you're going to be another source that they come to for information.
Yeah. Hopefully,
sounds like somebody has found a hammer.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't, my crazy, conspiracy deals don't chase anybody off. But I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I do have a point that I won't go past. And this person started talking about Anunnaki and lizard people. And I was like, well, okay. All right. Hold on. All right. I can talk about a lot of things, but you start going into bloodlines and pure bloodlines and incest and lizard people. I'm like, you're going to have people tuning out immediately. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? Because you can't, I get it. I've listened to it. It's interesting. It's entertaining, but I don't, it's just too far. That's too far out there.
Okay, I won't bring up the lizard people.
Yeah, no Anunnaki here.
Shut that one down. I do get a kick out of some of the theories that come out on some of the podcasts that I listen to. There's some winners out there. There's some real interesting ones. My favorite so far is that we, I guess, put ourselves here. Like maybe we were on Mars and then like we destroyed that planet like we're doing to Earth now. So we went from Mars to Earth, and now it's kind of like life in reverse. Like we're destroying Earth and now we got to get to Mars, and it's just back and forth.
Yeah, not
did you
sure.
See that new, did you see that new UFO video, Sean, where they're like, I guess the Navy just released this?
Was it the one over Brazil?
I don't know where it was. I saw like a
5 bright lights in the sky.
30-minute clip or a 30-second clip. No. Like they're following this thing, and I think it's the one where they call this thing like a tic tac, and it's just moving across the field of view like super fast. It's making these crazy maneuvers, and I guess the footage got leaked, and so it's gone viral all over the internet. So finally, the Navy stepped in after this had hit the internet like 6 months ago, and the Navy literally put out a statement confirming it, saying, "Yep, that's real footage. We did take that, and we have no idea what it was."
Well, you're a Rogan fan?
You know it.
All right. So, Bob Lazar, did you watch that one?
Yes, sir. Oh my God. Yeah. Sleeping with the nightlight on, man.
Yeah. So
that dude's got some, if 1% of his story is true, then yeah, there's some weird tomfoolery going on.
Well, I mean, you've worked on some of these, some of these craft, not those type of craft, but I mean, you've worked on a Black Hawk helicopters. You've got, some experience with what they're, what kind of,
Listen, Sean, I've got the lowest security clearance that you could possibly have. And it just says that, as far as we know, this guy's cool. So can he turn a wrench on a helicopter? Sure.
Okay.
So they never came forward with the alien secrets to me.
Man, I was just hoping you may be that.
Oh, dude, you mean both.
No, but I mean, it's got to be. I mean, this. I don't think we're alone. I mean, I don't know if it's the alien that they think like the Greys or anything like that. But I mean, dude, the world is. I mean, the universe is so dense and vast. I mean, how
anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, how I don't know, how arrogant could you be to think that we're it.
I agree, but then again, how presumptuous are you to say that there is definitely life out there? I mean, you can argue it both ways, right?
Yeah, you could, but I mean,
we could have put ourselves here. Like we could be the reason that we're here. We're always like looking to the stars for answers, but maybe humans like really messed up. We got to a really amazing technical point, and then we somehow or another lost all our tech, and now we're just dumb humans trying to make iPhones.
Well, I mean, if you look at all the stuff that they uncover, I mean, they just uncovered 20 more coffins in I think Egypt, in
Yeah, I
Egypt.
posted that on my Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're constantly. I mean that's just what happens. We've been here for so long that what ends up happening is the foliage ends up growing over civilizations and lost civilizations and stuff like that nobody can even get to or even can see. Things get uncovered. I was talking about this earlier where, the time that we've been here keeps getting pushed back because they keep having more discoveries and carbon dating that dates things way past, oh shit, we've been here 15 years prior, 15,000 years prior.
Sean, what if they popped open one of those mummy things? What is it? A sarcophagus or whatever?
Yeah.
What if they popped one of those open and it had winning lottery numbers on a lottery ticket for next week, like the following week?
That'd be awesome. Unfortunately, it wouldn't do me any good.
Just saying, how many minds would be blown from that? You don't know what you're going to find in there, right? I mean, have they even opened them up yet?
I have no idea.
Inside.
Somebody just sent me a screenshot of it or something, and I really don't watch the news.
Well, you're not going to see stuff like on the news anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like in my own little world right now, and worrying about my podcast, my daughter, my day-to-day things, and just trying to keep the noise out, all of that extra stuff that doesn't do me any good to think about anyways.
Yeah. Just focus on what you got in front of you.
Yep. So what else do we got here?
You got time to tell me about this RV, man? It looks pretty clean. Like, do you even live in that thing?
I do. I'm just happen to be, when you start living tiny, you start to realize the things that you don't need.
Yeah, I'm in the process of downsizing everything. I started moving stuff out of one location to another, and I just couldn't believe how much was just disposable.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a storage unit that I pay like $120 a month for, but I mean, I'm really thinking about emptying that thing out and getting rid of it. I mean, because it's like it's nothing that I couldn't just go and drop on a credit card anyways if I really needed to,
Right. Yeah, those storage units, man. I mean, you're just paying for them to hold on to your crap, and obviously you don't need it, or it wouldn't be in storage.
There's a couple of the things that I did need. Like yesterday, I went and pulled my my pressure washer out of there because I had a bunch of bugs stuck to the front of my. It's been so long since I washed my truck that I've got like bugs caked onto it. So I'm like using the high pressure to get rid of them. But I mean, other than that, I mean, there's just a couple of things in there that I need. Most of it could just
So
go.
how much does it cost to run your rig and your truck through like one of those big truck stop car wash things? I mean, that's moderately inexpensive, right? $5, $6, maybe $10 max.
Oh, you mean my truck? Not this thing.
Your truck. But I mean, it's not that expensive, right? But
No, it's
you're
about
paying
$50.
how much?
It's about $50 to if I had them go and do it, and I'm still gonna have them do it. They don't do a very good job of getting all that stuff off. So usually, because they're not gonna do it the way that I would want them, that I would do it. So I just kind of help them along in the process. So I get rid of all of the stuff that I know they're not going to take care of. And I washed it, and then I'll take it in and like have them do it and wash it and do a nice job and clean the interior, because having this guy right here.
What's his name?
Riley, and he sheds. And so like that the whole back of my truck, my back seat part of it, because I have all the seats up, it's just his hair everywhere, man. And I'm just like, so I don't know. I guess
my point was you said your pressure washer is like the only thing in that storage unit that you're keeping. You're paying $150 a month for it. Is that what you said?
Well, it's got a generator in there too.
Okay. But I mean, if it was, let's just say it was just a pressure washer, $150 a month to keep just a pressure washer. That would be insane.
Yeah,
right?
no, that would be silly.
So I'm kind of in the same situation. Like I've got some filing cabinets in there that I need to like just pull that stuff out, copy it. It's documentation that I need to keep because the state says I need to keep it. So I just scan it, put it on the computer. No more filing cabinets. Everything else I could probably throw it away. So I'm with you. I need to get rid of my storage unit too. It's just a silliness, unnecessary cost. And in light of everything that's going on right now in the world, it's like you're just kind of hyper focused on like, okay, what do I not need?
Yeah. Well, so what I can say is that when I split up with my ex, it wasn't the right time to buy. And obviously, I mean, I guess it could be the right time to buy right now, but I'm just not like, okay, what am I going to say? I'm unemployed right now. So this was actually a blessing for me to be able to have this. And the only reason why I didn't sell it is I was upside down in it because I bought it brand new. And so in order for me to sell it would have cost me like 10 grand. And so I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go live in it. Yeah. And I mean, what the payment is like $520 for the RV plus your insurance, whatever that is. And then $700 for the space itself, which I'm able to, I've got both of my jet skis in the front, my commute car and my truck all fit, and this fit on this space. And so, that's 700 plus, what was it? Let's say no more than 900. So where in California are you going to have water? And I'm on the water too. So like right there I'm pointing right there. There's the levee right there. On the other side of it is the river. And so I can literally go fishing. Awesome. Yeah. I can go fishing. I can do whatever I want. And in California, what is that? 900 plus 520. Let's just say 6. That's $1,500. Where else in California in the Bay Area are you going to find to live for that cheap?
Yeah, that's real light. Nowhere. Yeah, I think the last time I heard the median household price for, I think the average was like 1.4 million. That's average.
Yeah,
for a home. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is, and the people are going to be losing their homes again after this as well. Because of the relief that they think they're getting, they're not. All the money and not all the people or all the companies are doing this, but some of them are. And they're deferring their payments for 3 months, but at the end of that 3 months, in the fourth month, they're going to owe all of it. And so, I mean, if you got a $2,000 a month mortgage, that's $8,000 you're going to owe on that fourth month when you haven't been working. What are you going to do? You might start seeing people walking away from their homes like they were in 2008.
I was going to bring that up. We just kind of recovered from that. I mean, there was all these nightmare stories of people going back to their homes or banks going to their properties that they repossessed, and they're just destroyed because somebody moved in. And there was even a story about a guy that I think he moved into a house and started making payments on it. Wasn't his house. Somebody had lived there and made payments on it for 10 years before him, but he moved in and paid on it for X number of months or years. And that's his house now. And they tried to remove him. He took it to court and he's like, look, I paid on this house for this long. And by this law or this provision or whatever, that's my house. And they looked into it. And I don't even think the dude needed an attorney, and they gave him that house. So this complete circus of homes that were, what did they call that? Toxic lending. But I mean, it was subprime loans.
Yeah, subprime mortgages.
Yeah. And anyway, it all just went tits up in 08, and all those homes were just sitting there vacant, and people were just tearing them up. Aside from that one guy.
I knew some people, because this was back when I was still in my addiction, and one of the people that I got meth from did that. They just squatted and started, put the mail in their name, started having stuff delivered to that address. And so you got squatters' rights in California. So,
that might have been what it was.
Yeah, there wasn't anything that they could do about it. And the actual mortgage companies were having to pay people to get out. $5,000,
we'll give you this money if you'll just walk away.
Yeah, just get out of here. So
Take your cat with you, please.
It was just the craziest because there were, at that time, there was just like, you could go to any block or neighborhood and there would be at least half of that neighborhood was vacant homes.
Well, Sean, what you need to do if you're serious about buying, you need to follow all of your friends that are currently migrating from California to other more attractive states like
Yeah, right.
Texas.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, and I would do that if, honestly, I would if my
Get
ex,
your daughter.
yeah, if we could
Yeah.
come to an agreement and say, hey, look, are you ready to leave California? I mean, because I don't want to be with her. We're just not compatible that way. But
Yeah.
I would think about it. And we actually thought about going. She wanted to go to, where is that place in Texas? It's where the lakes are. It's
We
not
got a lot of lakes, brother.
Yeah, I know. Where's a? It's not Fort Worth. It's not Dallas. It's another popular area.
Well, I need a little more
No,
than that.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Is it
Is it
Grapevine?
no? Start naming some places in Texas that are like huge cities.
Okay. Big cities: Houston, San Antonio, Austin.
I think it was Austin. I think it was
Austin. Okay, yeah. A lot of people from California tend to migrate towards Austin because it's more of a, as far as Texas is concerned, Austin is by far the most liberal city that we have.
Yeah.
So that would make sense that anybody from California would find that an easy transition.
Yeah. Well, she's got family.
Austin's beautiful.
Yeah, she's got family there that live on the lake, and like her cousin works in Vegas, and lives here. And so she goes back and forth. She's in interior design, works for does a lot of stuff for the, casinos out there. And so I told her, I said, look, if that's something you wanted to do, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but we'd have to be on the same page. You know what I mean? Cause I'm not going to let you just take my kid and go,
Sure.
but yeah, I mean, leaving this state is, it's too expensive to pay for the weather here.
Oh yeah. Well, everything is so expensive there. I had a couple of friends move from there about 10 years ago. And whenever they sold their homes and moved out here, they got a better house with property. And then they the two of them started businesses because they just had a fat little nest egg after selling their house to move to Texas. The housing cost out here is just so much lower, but you better get here fast because it's going up. I mean, my house, 2,000 square foot. I bought that thing for 190,000, and that was a very, very nice house. Mm-hmm. Not much of a backyard, not much of a front yard, but pretty good size. And anybody from California, if they saw that thing and saw how little I paid for it, I think they would probably move to Texas the next day.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure. There's Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's where a lot of people are starting to go. Rogan helped with that a little bit, but I mean, I'd heard about Coeur d'Alene way before I even saw Rogan or listened to him. I was in prison with the guy that lived in Coeur d'Alene, and he would always talk about it.
I must have missed that episode. Where is Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene is in Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
What are they known for?
Militia.
Militia.
Idaho's got a lot of militia going on up there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, if that's how you like to party, Sean, yeah.
No, not really. Not. I mean, I know I got the shaved head and all, but that's only because I tried to cut my hair myself, and I was just like, you know what, screw this, it's gone. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah. Well, if a shaved head means you're in the militia, I'm going to be in trouble. This beautiful head of hair is about to fall out. I think I've been noticing the little signs in the bottom of the shower. At the end of the day, I'm like, oh, it started. I thought I got to keep this forever.
Yeah, well, at least you don't have that receding hairline.
Well, that's where it's headed. As soon as it gets too bad, man, I'm gonna shave it. I'll be right there with you. But I mean, do I have to like yell at people as they pass me? Like, I'm not in a militia.
No, I have no idea. I just, I stopped just because I looked like a lot meaner and unapproachable when my head's shaved, because I don't smile when I'm out and about anyways. And
mean
so,
mugging.
Yeah, well, I'm just, no, I'm just, it's my resting bitch face.
Nice. Easy, Karen.
Yeah. So yeah, funny. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Were you the one that was inquiring about being in the process of wanting to do this exact same thing?
Yeah.
or had thought about it?
So part of my rock bottom story that I kind of skipped over, there's a bunch of details. And like I said, down the road, we can do another one if you want, but
Yeah.
I'm currently staying with some really good friends. About, let's say, a week ago, things just kind of took another downturn. And anyway, I needed a place to stay, and I didn't have to ask anybody. Some really good friends of mine just sent me a text message whenever they found out what happened, and they're like, "You're coming to live with us." So I'm staying right here. They set me up in a room, and I've got all my personal stuff, computer to work from, and whatnot. But I think my next step, while I'm paying bills off and trying to repair my credit, is move into a situation kind of like what you got going on there. I like your setup. So
Yeah, this is
before I saw what you were doing, I was considering the same thing. So, but yeah, looks like you're making it work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 40-foot. Like I said, I bought it brand new. I would suggest that, and that's really hard because these things, you don't know what kind of wear and tear somebody's bought and put on it. And a lot of the times when these things are brand new, they have problems, and you got to take them back to the dealer and have them work on them and fix them and stuff like that. So I would do some research, and if you could find one used, I would go that route, because if you need to get rid of it, you're not going to be upside down in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You already lost that 10 grand. The person before you, like me, took the hit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like it, man. I like it.
I'm sorry, I keep stepping on you, man.
Oh, no. I was just saying, I like it. I enjoy it. I mean, it can get crowded when I have my daughter and the big guy over here.
Oh yeah.
Running around, because I mean, they're both running around in here, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's the setup that I have, like I'm able to have, like what I'm looking at right here and I'm pointing at is the big screen. So it's a big screen TV that's an extended monitor. And so all my stuff is right here. I can still utilize the recliner back there to watch TV if I want. The middle is the kitchen and the dining room table, and then the bathroom, and then the bedrooms in the back. So I mean, everything is literally split up. And who's
the manufacturer for that model?
KZ. So,
KZ.
Yeah, it's a KZ Durango, and it's solar, and like it's a 2018.
Okay, yeah,
and
those
everything,
Durangos are nice.
Yeah, and everything I can do for my phone. Like all the slides, it's all on an app in my phone. All the hydraulics, everything else is all on my phone.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
shame on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm bragging a little bit. It's the only thing I can brag about.
Yeah, and for any of your listeners that are like, "Ooh, I hope they talk more about RVs," I've been looking around at these things, and like you said, the used ones, it seems like they bottom out at $6,000. Like if you want to know what the return is on a used model, it seems to be that everything at a certain point settles at $6,000. So that's the least amount that you're looking at in Texas. I don't know what it's like in California. Yeah, it's probably bottom dollar 20,000 in Cali. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did that. I tried to sell it, and I looked around, at my particular model, what they were going for used, and it's just, honestly, when it comes to selling one of these RVs, it really is going to depend on your price that you're selling it for, and the time of year you're selling it, the season.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it is most people aren't buying them for the reason that I'm buying them. You know what I mean? I've gotten so much use out of this thing, where most people they use it maybe 5 times a year, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, your type of situation is getting more popular, and there's a travel podcast that I listen to sometimes, but they were just talking about how after this coronavirus thing, some people, everybody's got different opinions, but some of the enthusiasts are thinking that a lot more people are going to be living out of these things because it's cheaper. Okay. So, and everybody's going to be trying to save money after that and reevaluating their budget. And for people like you and me, where the situation makes sense, why not? Why not stay in a RV? You've got everything you need there. So in most cases, it's much nicer than a cheap apartment, and you get to pick where you want to park it. So some of those RV parks are nice, man.
Dude, the one that I'm in is all pavers. And like I've been to a couple around my area, and the reason why I chose this one, and it's on a bridge, and I have to pay a toll and I'm 15 minutes away from my daughter and my ex. But the other one, it was, I've been there before, and it's got a lot of trees and it's got grass and dirt. And so when we get into a rainy season, it gets muddy there. And then the trees all drop sap, like some sort of a sap on everything. And so like the last time I was there, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this again. I had to get up and pressure wash the roof and all kinds of stuff.
Pressure washer? Yeah.
I mean, and I was just like, God damn, man, this is a lot of work. I don't want to go and do that. And so, so good times, man. That's the joy of being single, man. Single in your 40s, mid 40s. That's definitely a different, God, it's a different game, man. Being out there, being on the, online dating. And that's one of the reasons why I picked, Lori to be a co-host, because she's single as well. And so we have,
I was about to bring that up. Maybe she'll help you out, help you identify what the problem is. 'Cause it's not that sweet lab sitting behind you.
Yeah. He's the only thing that gets me, he gets me a lot of attention, man. That guy's he's a good team player.
Looks like a good dog. He hadn't messed with you at all. He knows his place.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised he's not. It's 5:00. It's his time. It's usually time to eat. And so like this dude doesn't know how to tell time, doesn't have a watch, but 5:00 every damn day in the morning and 5:00 in the evening. That's usually when we feed him. And,
they're good about that.
Yeah. So he's being good right now. It's probably 'cause he's asleep. Oh, nope. He's giving me the side eye. See that?
He's ready. Is it time? Are you done? Are you finished playing with your wizard equipment over there?
Yeah, you finished playing with your friends? I'm hungry. Yeah, here he goes. See? There he is. All right, here, buddy.
Well, your guests can't see him your listeners can't see him. So have you talked about your dog yet? Do they know what he looks like?
If they've gotten onto my Facebook group, I post some pictures and stuff in there. Are you in there?
Probably. Everything I've seen on your social media, I've just been liking and subscribing to. So
yeah, no, Riley is Riley is a charcoal lab, which anybody that's never heard of a charcoal lab, he's kind of like gunmetal gray with a chocolate tint. So really he's a chocolate that either went too far or didn't go far enough. I don't know which one it is. I know that he's more, he's about almost 4 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a good,
lots of time left with that one.
Yeah. He's a good dog, man. Probably the best dog that I've ever had. Just as far as like personality, how he is with my kid, and just in general, just like how loving of a dog he is. I'm gonna be.
Labs are great.
Yeah, I'm gonna be destroyed when I gotta say bye to him. So yeah, that's the thing about having animals, man. It sucks. They bring you so much joy, but then there's that that they're not going to be there forever.
Yeah, man, that's rough. That's very rough, for sure.
All right, well, go ahead and plug anything you want to plug. I'm gonna get going here. I got one at 6, and I got to get him fed and deal with him.
Well, again, man, thanks for having me on. I hope that this podcast brings you some value and that your listeners really enjoyed it. As far as stuff to plug, man, I'm still getting things kind of put together. I've got a lot of big ideas and just a little bit of time to squeeze it all together. So maybe we can do this again, and I'll plug some stuff next time.
Yeah, when you get your show going, man, just let me know, and I'll have you on again, and we can talk about what you're doing, your show. If you want me to be on as a guest, that's fine. I can be one of your first guests for you.
That'll be great. Yeah. Now I was kind of standoffish about this whole over the phone thing, but this wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
No, I mean, you get used to it. You learn.
Not too scary.
Yeah, you learn, how to take the pauses because it does overlap a little bit. And if I can do it on a hot spot, the other day I did, the power went out here, right? and I had an interview lined up. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so luckily the hotspot's battery operated. It's got it's rechargeable. The laptop was charged up 100%, and my H6 Zoom, what I, do the recording on, that's battery operated as well. It can be switched back and forth. So I did the whole interview, off the grid.
Yeah. Well, you got to have contingency. So rolling with it. That's good.
Yeah. That was cool, man. I was like, yeah, right on. I finally bought the right stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thank you for spending some time with me. And like I said, you get your podcast rolling, and whatever you want to do, just hit me up and we'll make it happen.
Perfect. Sean, it's been a pleasure, man.
All right. You too. Hey, have a good one.
Feed that dog.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Nowhere to Go But Up podcast. Sean is a single dad, a union blue-collar guy, and he spent time in federal and state prison for drug trafficking and fraud. When he was released from prison in 2006, all he had was the clothes on his back, a bag of mail, and some paperwork. Since then, he's turned his life around and shares the struggles and successes on this podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we hope you were moved. To connect to the show, book a guest spot. For merch, Patreon, PayPal, and social media links, go to linktr.ee/nowhere to go but up. On Instagram at Nowhere to Go But Up Now. On Twitter at But Up Now. On the YouTube channel at Nowhere to Go But Up Podcast. See you next time.